Paloma's left click is a ranged attack that deals 10 damage. On the first successful hit on an enemy, it attaches a leash that applies 30% of damage to nearby enemies when the target is struck again. Poloma can also use the left click on a friendly target to heal them for 8 health. Like the enemy attack version, a leash will apply between friendly targets, including yourself, that heals leash secondary targets for 50% of the original heal value. Use left click to poke and heal friendlies. Paloma's right click turns a friendly target semi-invisible and invulnerable for 1.8 seconds, as well as boosting their movement speed for the duration of the invulnerability. The closest target to the right click will receive the effect. You do not need vision of the friendly target to cast this, and it has infinite range. Use this to escape sticky situations and to protect caught friendlies. Paloma's space sends out a spirit that deals damage to enemies and knocks them back or heals a friendly target. For 3 seconds after the first cast, you can reactivate the ability to either teleport to the friendly target hit, the enemy target hit, or the position that the ghost finished if neither were hit. Use this to deal damage and to initiate attacks, as well as for defensive positioning and healing of allies. The X version of this ability will switch you out with a hit target instantly. The heal is greater, but the enemy damage caused is the same. Paloma's Q is a spell interrupt that inflicts panic if an enemy tries to cast an ability within 0.5 seconds of the rift appearing. Panic forces the enemy to run away for 2 seconds with an increased movement speed. The X version of this ability drains health from interrupted targets, but reduces the length of the panic to 1.2 seconds. You will rarely use this X version in its current state. Paloma's E is a channeled, ranged attack that summons a ghost wolf to attack a target in a linear direction. It provides a small knockback and will apply the same debuff as your auto attack that spreads damage to nearby enemies. It also attaches a 1-second snare to the enemy. This is best used after you land a panic from your Q, as it guarantees a hit. Paloma's R summons a pixie that mimics your left attack, allowing you to increase your damage or heals for a short duration. You will rarely use this in its current state. Paloma's F is an AoE that heals friendlies and damages enemies over 2 stages. If caught in the first stage, enemies will be snared for 3 seconds, gradually gaining back their movement speed. This is a very powerful ability, and you'll want to be using it as often as possible. So I'll go ahead and quickly talk about the Battlerites. I recommend round 1 that you take Joyful Spirits just because you're a healer, so we want to be doing more healing. In round 2, we want to take Enter the Realm. Movement speed and cooldown reduction, that's really good because you're usually using other side for getting out of dodge, so it's really important to have the movement speed attached to it. The third one, we want to be taking Spiritual Wind. Again, movement speed is really important. You're a kite heavy character, so let's abuse that as much as possible. Round 4, Soul Theft. Healing, again, probably better than the other 2. It's not ideal, but I'd say that Soul Theft is the best all-rounder. And then in round 5, typically go for Equilibrium, but you can take Condemn if you want. What you pick is obviously adaptive, so sometimes you're going to want to be taking different things depending on your team match, and who's going up against who and whatever else, but I generally recommend those as the way to go. So yeah, round 1 Joyful Spirits, round 2 Into the Realm, round 3 Spiritual Wind, round 4 Soul Theft, and then round 5 Equilibrium. Most games as Paloma are going to start out with you pressing your spacebar, hitting an enemy, following it up, hitting your Q to induce the panic, and then using your E finally to deal damage while you kite back to your team. If for any reason you're caught doing anything in this situation, simply right click and run as quickly as possible to get back onto your side of the map. And obviously once you're there, you can use your left click, start spamming it on friendlies, healing up anyone that's taken damage. Try to always remember that your E is an interrupt because it does push back, which means that, such as in this situation, when the enemy rook starts ultimating, you can interrupt it and basically shut him down before he can get off any real damage. I also want you to pay attention here. I recognise that the friendly's probably going to get charged on by Rook, so I hit them with the spacebar. When Rook comes in, I'm going to follow up with the spacebar. I'm going to hit the Q to panic the Rook away, and then I'm going to slam the E onto the Rook to keep him completely out of the fight for 5 or 6 seconds while my team can dish out more damage to the other 2. And again in this clip, I see a friendly going on an enemy, I see I can push Paloma into an ultimate, so I do that. Unfortunately I don't hear either enemy with my ultimate, but that's not the point. I do get the heal off, it's good position, and we waste enemy cooldowns. Positioning of your ultimate is really, really important, and making sure that you can heal friendlies with it, because it's like a 40 heal. It's really, really strong, so make sure that you're positioning those well. And we pretty much never want to be using our R, simply because it's just not strong enough, and it's much better to save it for your ultimate, which is very much make or break most games. And in this last clip, I'm just going to kind of showcase what you can do with Poloma. Even in a 2v1 situation, you can turn it into a 0v1 situation if you know how to play, if you control the map well. You get a little bit of luck as well, but it's mainly about hitting those skill shots and ensuring that you just position well, take your tunnels correctly, and yeah, with good gameplay you can overcome the odds. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope this guide was useful.
Led astray. Ultimate ray!
Above you.
Back for a gleam!